Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show. Oh, if you guys haven't checked out my new website, check out aeo.so, aeo.so. AEO.so, answer engine optimization. I created a resource for everyone, so be sure to check that out. How's everyone doing today? If you're just tuning in, we have Ray Sadik on how multi-channel captures intent. So this is gonna be a good one, guys. Oh yeah, we got 8 more minutes to go. If you're just tuning in, we have Ray Sadik and how multi-channel captures intent. We're gonna go and dissect his presentation at Brighton SEO. Got some great questions for him. Don't be shy, guys. Be sure to say hi in the live chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Victor, hi Dre. What's up, Victor? What's up from Austin, Texas? Maddox, welcome. Still waiting for Ray to hop on. Be a good one, guys. SEO is not dead. I'm not going over any videos. I don't know if I'm going to bring that back. I'm just going to keep it maybe just to interviews now, since we do a lot of reaction videos on the GBP Roast Show. Check out GBP Roast every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. Kenneth, hey Dre. If you're just tuning in, we have Ray Sadik on how multi-channel captures intent. We're going to be going over his presentation at Brighton SEO. Calls multi-channel search strategy. So be sure to check that. Should get your notes ready. We got less than 5 more minutes to go. Don't be shy. Let me know where you're watching from. And I do have maybe I think 2 more books of these. 2 more SEO in 2025 books if you want a copy. Let me know your address. If you are in the United States, just email dre@seo.video. dre@seo.video. And if you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check out aeo.so to learn answer engine optimization. It's a resource I put together of everyone's spicy tactics on ranking in AEO. I put in my own tactics in there as well, so be sure to check them out. It has worked for me. If you didn't know, I was part of a little AEO AIO AI mode competition for the king of YouTube SEO, or the YouTube SEO king. So you can check out how I'm ranking in there with others who are trying to go after me. Okay, go after the throne. Al, yo, what's up? We got 3.5 more minutes to go. I don't see Ray in the back. And I talked to him this morning, so he should be here. My man Stefan didn't show up today. Stefan, where are you? You're usually the first message I get when I log on, brother. Hope everything's good, brother. Fletcher, hey fellas. Let me make sure. How multi-channel content drives growth. That's what we'll be talking about. Oh yeah, my man. Can you hear me okay?
Man, good?
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, what's up?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Doing good. It's getting warm over here. I'm just wearing the sweatshirt just for the show, even though it's hot. It's hot in my place right now. I'm gonna be sweating after this.
Yeah, to be fair, man, it's hot. It's well hot here as well. Like the UK is boiling today, and usually we don't get very lucky with it. I'm just trying to switch my webcam, and it's not letting me because I've got a better camera than this. Just use my laptop one.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem. Hey Dre, what tool do you use to distribute your content on multiple different channels? I use Restream. I actually, my production is vMix, and then I connect it to Restream, and then it goes to LinkedIn, X, Facebook. Yeah. And then of course YouTube. What's up, Emily? All right, we got less than a minute to go. I'm gonna let Ray get ready because he had to restart. We have 30 more seconds. Ray, are you gonna be back in 30 seconds? Hopefully he does. There we go. Ray, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm about to start the show in about less than 16 seconds. So I'll introduce you in about a minute or so. Hello? Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Hey, time to get it started. No delay. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre de Vera. Steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO. You will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge. Legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show.
Hey, Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released within the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guests, and today we have Ray Sadik of Rise at 7. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Emily, Fletcher, Al, Kenneth, Maddox, Victor. Welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, why do SEOs love the farmer's market? Lots of organic content.
Ray's an organic growth tech specialist and growth full line of marketing at Rise at 7. He's an extensive experience across in-house and agency environments. He specializes in both social and SEO strategies to deliver impact results. His background spans from behind marketing, organic social media, and organic search, making him a go-to thought leader. Please welcome Ray Sadik. Ray, my man, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you? Incredible intro. I was not expecting that. That is insane. Wow.
Everyone, let's give a round of applause. All right. So this is the first question I get asked all my guests to professionals that come on here. 1 minute or less, how does Ray get ranking on page 1 of Google?
I find opportunities to inject myself into culture, so I show up, which is most relevant for my audience. That's how I do it.
Ooh, there you go. Let's rewind this real quick. Hold on. So take us way back. Take us to when you actually first got into SEO.
So it's actually interesting. So I started my career as a content creator. So I had a really large Instagram account, and I started off in the social media side of things. And I was pretty much just living off that. Grew my account to 100,000 followers, and then my account got taken down. At which point I was like, well, I need to get a job. But I realized I was quite good at social media. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go build social accounts for brands. Ended up working with a load of businesses, working my way up to work with some really cool brands in the UK. But then COVID, of course, hit. And at that point, I was like, again, finding myself in the situation, I need to find a job, which is where I was like, I can do digital marketing. There was not a lot going for social at that time. And I just landed in SEO. And I've worked at various different agencies, ran SEO for a few brands over here in the UK, but also US and Europe as well. And now I'm heading up the marketing at Rise 7.
Nice. So how'd you actually learn SEO then?
So SEO, I learned it actually from my first agency. I had my manager at my first agency actually just basically mentored me through that whole process. Like she taught me. I was literally a junior SEO. I came in as a junior SEO. I did link building, digital PR, on-page, technical, all the way through. Then ended up building my own sites during that time, built a few affiliate sites, and then started doing it for brands, freelancing, and then learned myself after that, basically.
Nice. What was their names? Give her a shout out.
Shout out to Naomi Francis.
There we go, Naomi. Thank you for all your help into the industry. So I want to take us through, like, so you do a lot of speaking, right? I mean, I've always, you go Brighton. I mean, are you at other circuits? Like, how'd you get into doing that?
Yeah, so actually this year so far, I've spoke at probably around 15, 20 events now. Just been back to back. Literally this week I did a talk, a panel, and then I actually jumped onto another panel as well. So it's been just like back to back this week. But yeah, I actually got into that randomly. Was my first talk I applied to speak at Brighton, because everyone was like, you should just go do it. It's just, you know, as an SEO, if you're in the UK, everyone says, if you've got to a certain level in your career and you've realized something that works and you want to share that knowledge, go do Brighton SEO. And I have to say, it's probably one of the best things I ever did, because with Brighton SEO, shout out to Brighton SEO, shout out to Kelvin. The reason why I rate it so much is because they put you through a speaker training course before you go to do your first talk. So how that works is basically they send you off to a training day in London, where you get to meet a load of the other speakers you've never spoken before, and they give you an entire day of how to present yourself and have stage presence, and you get to practice your talk a little bit, and you're around people that are the same as you. So I went and did that, and that led me to do that first talk at Brighton. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed. It was just like, everyone was just like, oh, you're really natural on stage. Or, you know, I thought I was just really nervous. I was scared. And, you know, you're on stage and you're thinking, oh, I got off stage, I was thinking, what did I even say? Like, I completely forgot everything I said. But everyone was like, yeah, you did really well. And then since then, I just keep getting invited to speaker places. So apparently people still want to hear me. So.
Love that. Yeah. So, I mean, You said you did 13 this year?
Well, I'm on about 10, about 15 to 20 now, I think, at this point.
Oh, 15, 20. So, like, I mean, are your presentations
This year.
different? Are your presentations different or?
Sometimes, yeah. Like, so it's interesting because last year I did 15 in 1 year and they were all different because I was like, I want to do something different every time. And I was trying to cater it to every audience. But what I realized was what I'm really good at is multi-channel content, multi-channel SEO. And that's what I've always done because I've come from a social background. So I was like, I'm going to double down on that. So this year, what I've done is I've broken it into different sections. So depending on the conference, depending on the audience, what I'll do is I'll put together something that's specific for them based on the research. The other thing is I like to find out if it's actually going to make an impact, because I've been to so many talks where I feel like I've walked away and I feel like it's taught me something. And I always walk away from every talk slightly inspired, whether it's not like, I don't always have to feel like I've been moved, but I think because I'm such a perfectionist, I want to try and give something to people as much as I can. And one thing that I found is I always go into I go into the mindset of like, this is going to actually impact the audience. And what I found in multi-channel content is I've been able to actually do the research, the test, study that for a while, and then I've gone out and I've kind of put together mini versions of that. So from audience mapping to how to create the content to how to distribute it. And that's how I split it up into these different types of talks. And that's how I spread them.
Love it. And that leads us right into our conversation to one of your most recent talks. So your most recent talk at Brighton SEO, which, I didn't go, but I saw like a lot of people giving you so much props on LinkedIn. So like, you know what? I need to talk to you about it. Let's dive deep on what you actually said there. So you said that, SEO isn't dead, right? The pillars are. Can you kind of unpack this of what you mean, why this shift is very important for like SEO people today?
Yeah, so I think there's a massive change going on in the industry right now. I mean, we've all seen it, right? You've got everything that's going with LLMs. You've got the way the audience search behavior in general has changed over the past couple of years. It's probably the biggest change. I speak to, like I said, I haven't been in SEO actually that long compared to a lot of the veterans that you've probably had on this show who've really gone through the last 20 years. And I get to sit with them, and I've been lucky enough to be mentored by a lot of them. But one thing that I always hear from them is they've said to me that the change we've seen in the last couple of years is more than they've seen in their entire career. And because of that, I feel like right now, a lot of people they don't really know what to do, or they don't know how to transition on from this point or move forward from it. So one thing that I've been trying to push right now is the fact that multi-channel content in particular is going to be it's part of it. And social search has been a massive part of that. And that's what my talk at Brighton was really about.
Got it. So I wanted let's talk about that. I mean, how did your approach evolve to this? And you call it the multi-channel search strategy, right? I mean, what was the turning point in your career that kind of like, or campaign or moment that said, you know what, this is where I'm going?
So I think it was actually around the time when I was actually running this brands account. So I'd gone in house and I was looking after this organization's literally their SEO across 3 different markets, right?
Okay. Yep.
And what I was seeing was that people, the actual, we saw obviously as similar to everyone else, clicks were going down, traffic was going down, but what we were seeing was actually search behavior had changed massively. And I was trying to work out where people had moved, because one thing I've realized with search is it doesn't actually go away. When that traffic goes down, people just go somewhere else to search instead. So what I found from that was, okay, I need to go away and I actually need to figure out where this is going. And I was thinking, what am I doing in my own behavior? Well, I realized actually I'm going to places like TikTok, I'm going to places like Pinterest, I'm going to Reddit directly, or I'm clicking on those results specifically when they come up in Google. And that's when I realized actually, okay, this must be the same behavior that's going on with people for the brand that we're working with. So there was actually a report that was done around this time that basically said within the industry that I was working in that people were searching on TikTok more than they were on Google. At the time, people weren't really sure on the data, but I was like, okay, I want to go away and do the test. And I created the same type of content we post on our blog, targeting the same keywords for our audience. And I went and created that on social platforms. And as a result, what we found was all of a sudden people were actually, our branded search went up massively. That was the first thing that I noticed. So branded search increased.
In organic,
as in,
regular organic branded search.
Organic, yeah. All from organic search had gone up massively as a result of what was going on social. But what we also realized from TikTok specifically, where you can see the search, that video was continuously getting clicks and views. So one thing with social content is in the initial 72 hours of that video going live, you'll probably get your most viral state. And that's how it's always been with social content.
Okay.
What we realized with this was after a month, after 3 months, we were still getting traffic or people searching and clicking on that video. And what we're seeing was it was actually compounding and impacting our branded search because it was related to it. So the product that we were selling was within the financial industry, and it was something that often people would go to Google to search. The other thing was it was very competitive on Google to actually rank for these keywords that are related to it. So when we integrated ourselves into social, one, we drove a load of demand for the brand, but two, people were able to find us because those same videos that was coming up on social was then getting pulled into the SERPs as well. So I found that really cool. And I was like, this is definitely happening and definitely working. So I went away, I started consulting on social search, taking the exact same framework and strategy and going to do that for different brands and organizations of all different sizes. And it continued to work. And that's when I was actually reached out by the founder and CEO of Right 7, Carrie, and she basically turned around to me and she said, I'd love you to come join us and help us, first educate the industry about this, help us grow the agency in this space and really share this knowledge. And since I've been here, I've been able to work with the amazing social team here at Rise and see exactly how they're doing social search. I've been able to implement some of these strategies that I was learning. And as a result, we're seeing this for not just the brands that previously it was smaller organizations or it was just some global organizations, but now I'm seeing this across at scale for so many different global organizations that we work with. And as a result of that, we've had brands of all different sizes, in particular global brands, coming to us saying, we want this now as well because we know it's working.
Nice. So are you doing like social media content first? No blogs or anything like that? It's just pieces of content first? And what is your process of developing this content?
So it's interesting actually. So we have like almost like a audience mapping stage that we do. So we start from owning. So let's say most brands when they come to us, they have a problem of either they've got a demand problem, which means that they need to generate search demand for their business, or they've got a discovery problem, which means they've got the demand and people just can't find them when they search for them.
Okay.
So sometimes it's a combination of the two, but often it's one or the other. So what we do is we start with that and then we go, okay, cool. Based on that, what is the category that you want to own? So, for example, we've got a brand that we work with that wants to own in the space of holidays and Easter break specifically, because in the UK, Easter breaks, huge. That's a holiday time, people are off from school. That category is highly competitive. So in order to own that, we map out the type of audience that would want to do that. So the people that they would want to target, the ones with high intent, the ones that are searching, the ones that have got the money to spend. So what we did is we went away and we did that and we realized, okay, in order for this audience to find this and, to get them there, how do they actually search? So what we do is we do a multi-channel content research strategy. So we go and research at every stage of their user journey. We understand, okay, on this platform here, this is where their awareness actually starts. So often we found a lot of search ends up starting on social, even if it's indirectly. We follow the messy middle example where if someone's triggered by something, they'll go to then a platform to start their search, and they go through a phase of evaluation or exploration to then make their decision on what they want to buy. Now, what we found for that was people might go to TikTok first and search for things to do in X space. We just focused on things to do where their locations were based, right? So where they were already at. So they're a holiday making company. So if they've got a location in, let's say, Newquay or Treco Bay, we went and focused on that. And then we then related it back to the main category they want to own for Easter breaks. And how we did that was by keyword research. So that keyword research allowed us to map out across all these different points. So let's say they started on TikTok, they then might go to Facebook, they then might go to Google, they might go to Maps, etc., or review sites. And we realized, okay, across all these different points, we need to inject ourselves and make content that's relevant for them across this entire user journey for this specific audience cohort. And that's what we did. And it worked really well. From organic social alone, organic social search, it drove them something like 500,000 in 1 year as in revenue. Yeah, it was incredible. 151% increase on their year-on-year revenue from organic social, and social search was the only organic social they were doing during that year.
Wow, man, that's a lot of money right there. So I want to, so man, you make this sound so easy, but it does at the same time. It seems very complicated because how are you identifying what they're searching on each platform? I mean, what are some tools or frameworks that you use to analyze your intent, across all the social and search platforms?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. When I get into this, I can really go into these. We use various different things, and I think it's understanding that we have this thing called, it's either a human touch in terms of you start from a human emotion that you would just do from an immersion workshop, or you'd understand exactly what your audience wants. So you start from that, and then using that goes into a normal keyword research tool that you might use at Ahrefs. But then we use things like keywordtools.io, SEO Monitor. We use a variety of different tools to then give us like a holistic view of research. Because the problem is with social search data, and I have this conversation with SEOs on probably a daily basis, to be honest, where they'll come to me and they'll say, well, it's based off clickstream data, or it's not that accurate. The thing is, we're also, we should be aware by now about zero click data.
Yeah.
We should be understanding right now. I personally believe we should start with audience first, and that's what this is super reliant on. It's very heavy reliant on topic analysis and then breaking that into the subjects that they might search along that journey, and that's usually ends up being zero search data. But keywordtools.io gives you probably the closest amount of information that you can get on how popular a topic is, because it uses various sources of information like engagement, likes, views, and then we use that to then map it to keywords, topics specifically. So the thing with social is a lot of people like to think of it as SEOs, we go for long tail keywords, right? Because it's a lot easier to target, a lot easier to rank for. Whereas on social, you don't have that granular data. So you have to focus on it from a topic level, but you can still include those long tail keywords that people might search for Google. Because what I found is, and we don't always do this for every single brand or business, but sometimes what I find personally is, if somebody is searching for something on Google, they're more than likely going to end up searching. It'll just be, we're humans and we're creatures of habit. We'll probably search something similar on something like TikTok. Now, I worked with a hair brand, and I've done this in both ways, right? So this was one of my own clients where we did social search, and we understood that people were interested in how to control dandruff for shampoo with shampoo, right? The only thing was that there was the keywords we wanted to target based on the audience research I did had very, very low search volume. So we ended up actually, producing some videos around it. It went really well on social search. The interesting thing was, because it went so well on social search, I went and then produced a blog post about it. And even though it had no, zero click, zero search data previously to this, it ended up being their most popular blog on the website as a result, and drove the most revenue as well for the business. So it works in both ways as well. But yeah, that's how we would do it start to finish. So understanding your audience, using those tools there to then map those keywords out across those different points, and then just creating the right native content. So this is a really important part. I think that a lot of people, so with SEOs, we create really good piece of blog content, right? And because, you can get a writer to write a lot of that content for you. And the issue is that a lot of people think that, it's with social content, it's like being back in the old days of SEO where you just inject keywords into a video. And we forget actually the same thing that happened with us is we never wrote the content, we briefed authors to. And it's the same thing for social search. We don't have to create the videos, we just have to brief the creators the same way that we would do in search, same way we do it in SEO. So it's like treat a creator as you would a writer. They're going out to go and create that for you, you just have to brief them correctly. So that's where the keywords come in. So instead of just trying to say, I'm going to go make this video for my client and I'm going to inject all these keywords into the video so that it ranks. No, what you want to do is you want to brief it correctly for that creator. That creator will then go and create that video, and they will inject the keywords naturally, and then it's more organic and more authentic as well.
Excellent.
All right. So in your campaigns, I mean, like, how do you identify the content that belongs, on-site versus off-site to, fulfill that demand and discovery intent?
Yeah. So, there's a few different ways to do this, really. It's actually interesting because I've just realized the question at the start, I didn't actually get to finish off with that one. Actually, it's just come back to my mind where you asked about the offsite signals. So with the offsite signals, I'm actually a big believer in the fact that everything that's happening on site right now that we're having with the website, everything that we would traditionally do as SEOs, everything that goes onto website content, that should just be the basics. Good technical SEO, yes, but the things that are actually moving the needle right now is the offsite stuff. So everything that you do as a standard for SEO that we've done for years, yes, that should be happening. Technically fast website, good user experience, good readability, accessibility, all these things should be there as a baseline now. But if you really want to see growth and you want to move that needle, that's where offsite signals come in. So for your question earlier, where you actually mentioned to me about why the 3 pillars of SEO now change, the main one now to me is offsite signals. So if you've got that good housekeeping, offsite signals, things like branded mentions, driving branded search demand, creating content on publications, getting featured in publications that have roundups. These kind of things are examples of offsite signals. And so on site, we still do that. So we offer that as a service, and we still make sure that you have a really sound website. But offsite signals are so important right now. So make sure that you're going out and you're going to create creating branded search demand, branded mentions, links that are relevant to your business, and not just links in terms of. One problem I noticed with a lot of businesses is they just have links to their homepage, when really you should try your best to get authoritative, relevant links that from top tier publications in your industry, from relevant blogs in your industry, pointing to your category and your money pages as well.
Love that. And to finish this section off on intent, demand, and discovery is like, what does it look like when demand generation and content actually drives branded search volume or improves BA, you call it, right? Brand authority. Yeah. Any examples there?
Yeah. So I've got a really good example for this. Actually, the client that we worked with recently, they do like interior lights and lamps for your house. So they came to us with a bit of a demand and a discovery problem, because they have a good and strong brand, but they weren't really findable. So when people would search for them, they wouldn't come up. And the category that they wanted to own was rechargeable lights. So one thing that we wanted to test was there's been a bunch of studies over the past 2 years since the helpful content update of what actually helps move the needle, what websites, from the helpful content update actually survived or, did well post it. And there was a study from Tom Capper where he looked at 1.8 million URLs. I love this study. It's really cool. And one of the things that he noticed is a direct correlation between positive brand signals, so branded search and branded mentions and branded links, pointing to websites that actually performed well post helpful content update, which we found really interesting. And then there was also the algorithm leak from Mike King, which you might have seen, which also had a similar thing where it talked about branded search and branded search mentions and driving branded search and both any brand signals to actually what Google looks at in order to help you rank. Now we wanted to go away and test this, and we got to test this with this client. So what we did is we did nothing on their website, like on-site stuff. So absolutely no on-site SEO whatsoever. What we did do is we drove relevant branded mentions, so things within relevant publications in the industry and also top tier publications in general. We injected them into lists that were related to this. We inject them into culturally relevant things that their audience would like. Well, we mapped out the audience. We then went and did a load of social search content that related to their industry for, again, rechargeable lights. The people in the audience that we targeted were renters, because when you live in a rental accommodation, you can't drill holes into the wall. So what do you need to buy? You need to buy rechargeable lights. So as a result, what happened was it drove a load of branded search demand plus the category. So this is the most important part. It was their name plus the category, what people were searching for. So their brand name plus rechargeable lights. And we just did that, and we built some really powerful links to the website as well. And directly off the back of that, we built links directly into their category page. Directly off the back of that, what we saw was they begun to rank for rechargeable lights, for the keywords. There was a variation of different keywords that related to rechargeable lights. What was really cool about that was they never ranked for these before. So when they did start ranking for these after that, it was like they went from 0 to position 4, position 3, position 2, sometimes above Amazon for these terms. Rechargeable lights with Amazon, that's a very competitive term. And we didn't do anything on their website. It was a really powerful case study. And that's just one example. We've done this for multiple brands that we work with.
Wow, nice. Okay, let's get into putting this into action. It's like on your whole multi-channel, your content, and like the integration of getting this operationalized. Like, so how do you operationalize a multi-channel content strategy across like SEO, PR, UGC, and paid? And like, who owns what? I mean, I guess for you, you're at an agency, so you can actually you have that team there, right? So like, I'm curious how you work with your team on getting this launched.
Yeah, so there's a few different ways, to be honest, and I like to think of it again. You need to start by getting teams to talk to each other. A lot of times when brands come to us, and I think this is a big problem in marketing right now, where marketing teams have become so siloed. I mean, across entire departments, I've worked in-house, I've been agency side, I speak with brand marketers at major organizations on a daily basis, and they all tell me, especially when you're an SEO, I mean, any SEOs that are watching this are probably relating to this right now. You feel so siloed. You feel like you're the SEO who's put you're left with the website, often with a small team and a small budget, and you're left in the broom closet, right, to go do something on the website. So it means when something new like this comes out, or a tactic that's working for your competitors, or you're seeing it in the industry, makes it really hard to go and implement it. And I think that's the main problem, is we're so siloed. But it's not just happening to SEOs, it's actually happening across the board. A lot more teams, especially when it's a tactical focused skill, it becomes really siloed. Like organic social in particular is another one that sometimes gets impacted by this, because even though they should be driving brand, it's one of the main things that pushes a brand out there now. It's probably, if not the most, they often get separated from PR, or they often get separated from what's going on with the TV adverts. So and media in general. So I think we need to look at it as, first step is getting consistent meetings and time in with the different teams that you would work with. So let's say you want to own a category and you want to start implementing this, especially if you're an SEO. First thing is, understanding, how am I going to do this with the teams I've got? Okay, cool. We do have a PR team in-house. We do have a social team. Cool. Okay, these are two good starts. Both of them need content. That's the first thing. All you want to do is then make it as easy as possible. I'm talking to this from an in-house perspective, because I get in-house SEOs ask me all the time how you would do this without agency support. And that's the first step. I would say, go to these teams first, speak to them, see what they need, and I'll guarantee they will say they would even need support on content, understanding the audience. And that's when you bring in our special skill. So a lot of SEOs right now, I feel that are really insecure, or scared, about what's going on with the industry. And, even sometimes myself included, when it comes to search, we're seeing so many changes. You can feel nervous with these changes happening, when I don't actually think we need to be. I actually think that our skills are massively in demand right now. And what I mean by that is, we should be able to take actual search data that these two departments, say social and PR, really need to know about the audience. It's no longer, just going off intuition, and you can give them something to give them content. It's amazing the amount of times I've worked with brands and they never knew that you could get this level of insight on audiences. They're like, oh, how do you know that they're interested in that? What do you mean you have data on that? I thought we just looked at the trends and that was it. It's interesting because I had this conversation. Yes, I was sat on a panel yesterday, and we were speaking about social listening tools, and social media teams in particular. If you speak to them, they'll usually rely on one, data from different study websites or survey websites. They'll provide them information on audiences, or two, social listening tools. Now, the thing about both of them is, those things usually what ends up happening is people are projecting a version of themselves they want to be seen as, especially with social listening tools. So if you go on social media, I might post a load of stuff of me, feeling happy, healthy, or, all these things. But what you don't know is I'm actually searching for the best way to lose weight on my search bar, or, things like that that I'm actually looking for. I'm like, actually I've annoyed my girlfriend this week. I'm going to book her a holiday next month or something. Like, these things we don't actually project onto our social media. So social listening tools are very rarely able to pick up that. But what can pick up as that is what we do as SEOs, which is search data, what we have access to. So I would say, start with a gift. Go to these teams and provide them that search data and go, I can give you this insight, and then come back with, actually, we can use this insight to actually drive something that's more important for the entire organization, reach our KPIs, understand what those teams want. It's what we all need, which is drive more revenue, drive more traffic, drive more customers to the business. So once you've got that, you're like, okay, cool. Now I can go to them and go, this is going to do this. And I know this because the search data backs it. The audience research backs it. It's probably telling you something similar in the research you've got, but I've just got a deeper level of insight. So go and take that to them and start from that.
Love it.
If you're instead looking for support externally, I would then go to an agency at that point, attend workshops, there's loads of amazing people in the industry speaking about this stuff. I speak about it a lot on LinkedIn, but try and go out there and reach out to people who are doing this stuff and see where you can go with that and get that external support. Work with an agency if you need to.
Love it. Thank you for that. So I want to go into more of for brands struggling to break into listicles, reviews, and roundups. I mean, what's your approach on getting some product mentions offsite? I mean, I feel this is actually really good for AIO now, right? This is what they say, if you get it, or even LMs, you just get part of these listicles and stuff like that. I mean, so what's your tactic here, or what's your process?
Yeah, I can actually give you one that the founder of Rise, Carrie Rose, she was on she was at a conference this morning and she's speaking about it, and she actually gave out a tip that we talk about quite a lot, which is, journalists always need to update the articles. The same way that Google loves relevant articles, right?
Yeah.
They want it to be as refreshed, the most up to date that it can be. Journalists know that and they understand that, but they have to do this across thousands of articles on a daily basis. So what you can do is, whenever you see top 13 sun creams for the summer or something like that, right? These products here, or these articles, the journalists need to keep them updated. And if that's the reason why they're always a random number, 13, 18, whatever, because they're always adding on more. And what you can do is you can actually say, let's say you work with a sun cream brand, or let's say you're working with, I don't know if Nivea is a brand that does sun cream, but let's say they do. You can go to Nivea, work with the social team and see what products they've been pushing out recently that are part of that have gone viral, or maybe got enough traction to maybe be considered viral. You can then take that to the journalist and go, actually, by the way, I know you've done this article on this, looks amazing. Noticed it was out last year. I've actually got some sun cream you can add to it that's really relevant because people are raving about it on social media. And they'll go, thank you, I've been looking for something to fill it, because they've got so much to do, and they'll insert you into that article. That's one way that you can do it.
Love it. Simple. I mean, has that process been pretty effective? I mean, you think like they actually kind of like pick it up most of the time?
Yeah, it works right. We are quite good at driving demand for a product first via social. So usually when we work with brands, so we don't. Okay. We sometimes can do it without that. I think the PR team at Rise is incredible at what they do. So they don't even need to. They don't even need that level of support from the product going viral. But one way that if you don't have like an amazing PR team like Rise does, then go ahead and definitely do that first and get that product out there socially, and then use that as leverage. Got
it. That was the key point right there. Yeah. So like generating that demand is like getting the buzz out there first, and then say, hey, look at this. Okay, got it.
You seen this?
Yeah. Love that. So how do you like right now optimize? I mean, you started at TikTok, right? So I mean, how do you optimize for TikTok or YouTube content so that it feeds into like your SEO performance?
Yeah, so this again, it comes down to audience mapping. But if you want to talk about actually, do you mean optimizing the video specifically to show up for search? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is that something that is that you guys? Is that something that you do? Because I know like a lot of TikTok feeds and obviously YouTube Shorts are always showing up on the SERPs right now. I mean, is it are you doing something special there or?
Yeah, so. There's a few different ways that you can actually do this. So this comes down to, there's actually 3 ways that we like to start. I like to use it from. So I'm just trying to pull up here we go. So there's actually 3 ways that we usually do this. And the reason we do it using these 3 tactics is because the main way that people think of it is, we'll just post this content on my brand account. I would put it on my brand account. But what often happens is anyone who's worked with a larger organization, or even some smaller organizations that really care about their feed aesthetic, is they don't want that aesthetic to be ruined. They don't want their feed to have random search content integrated onto it. Because the thing is, with search content, it might not match the vibe that you're going with on your Instagram account or your TikTok account, right? So what ends up happening is, so you can, one, post it on your own account. The second, which I think is the most effective, is via creators. So if you can partner with the right set of UGC creators or influencers to go, and you can send them the brief with the keywords, they'll go and create that. And what you want to look for when you look for those creators is creators that are really good within that category. So what I mean is they already own that category. If you're in the, let's say you're in the running space, David Goggins, I'm a big David Goggins fan recently because I've started getting to the gym a little bit. He owns, the running is that area. He really owns that category. Obviously, he'd be quite expensive to work with. But what you can do is you can find micro UGC creators or influencers that still own that category or do really well in that category, and you can brief them to go and create content on their accounts. And then the third way, which is a new tactic, a lot of brands, I've been speaking about this quite recently, and I know a lot of people in the industry have now been like, this is something we really want to try, which is actually creating a secondary account where you actually just post social search content. How you actually optimize that is in a few different ways. So if we're speaking about TikTok specifically, this is how I would do it. So if you're I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. So if you're a social media marketer or you're an SEO, you both can do this. So let's say you're an SEO and you've done keyword research already using Ahrefs. Think of this as just keyword research, but using TikTok. And the easy way I like to do this is if you go to the search bar on TikTok and search Creator Search Insights, it gives you TikTok's internal tool, which is it's basically Google Trends, but for TikTok. That's the closest. It's not like exactly the same, but it's probably the most similar thing I can kind of compare it to. Let's say you want to rank for your Nike and you want to rank for best road running shoes, and you want it to rank within TikTok and hopefully get pulled into SERPs as well. Let's say you search that within Creator Search Insights. So you search best road running shoes.
Yeah.
It will give you, one, how popular that search term is once you click on it. Usually I start with a topic, so I might actually start with running shoes, and it'll give you a list, and road running shoes might be one that comes up. You click on that, it will give you how popular that term has been over the last couple of weeks and months. Now, based on that, you can then understand, okay, this has got some search demand. This is based off search. They say this is search data, by the way. This is not just popularity and likes and clicks. It's popularity based on internal TikTok search data. Now, what they give you alongside that is related topics and keywords that are related to that keyword. They'll give you a list of 25 to 30 of these keywords, right? And what you can do is then you can take those and you can write them down. What's really cool as well is for every single one of those keywords, it tells you exactly how to optimize it. TikTok literally tells you, it says, add it in hashtags, add this word in, add it in the video. It tells you exactly, it tells you genuinely how you can rank for it, which is really, really cool. So it literally gives you word for word how you can do it. So that's how you can take that information and turn it. But what you want to do from there is, and this is how I usually train brands on this, is pick one of those keywords. So let's say road running shoes. Like I said, find those related keywords, or those top 20 keywords, list them out in a spreadsheet, then create one video per search term. So literally go away and create road running shoes, create one. But what you don't want to do is make the mistake, like I said earlier, of just spamming in a keyword. Go and provide that keyword and the research around that keyword and the audience insight that you can find, because you'll go away and you'll do some audience insight before this. Provide that to the creator or provide that to your social team and tell them to create one video per each keyword. So for example, for that, best running shoes might be a creator review style piece of content. Marathon running shoes might be a London marathon vlog, somebody vlogging their experience in London Marathon. And that's the type of content you want to go and create. Then track it in a Google Sheet. So for every single one of those keywords, write down exactly, which one you've already done. Have you created a video for it? How well did it do? Is it still getting search demand after a month or two? Is it still getting searched after 3 months? Okay, yes, no. And write down how much views it's getting on a regular, how much it's growing. And that's how you track it. The reason why I put it like that is because then you can avoid overlap. Now, it's not like Google where there's cannibalization. There's nothing like that. But it just allows you to know that, you've already done a video on that. Can you take something from that video or the comment section where people are asking certain questions and go and create some more content? It's just for that, basically. But it allows you to know that you create that video and allows you to track it. Now, to actually add those keywords into the video, these are the couple of ways you can do it. So the first one is actually adding keyword targeting within the video. So actually, with pop-ups to come up in the video, saying it within the script, verbally saying it, and then using auto captions allows TikTok to know that you're actually including that keyword as well. Within the caption, text on screen, hashtags, the hashtags still to a degree work. And then, adding them in across all those different points will then allow TikTok to know that your video, you want it to be categorized for that term. It's like, it's kind of like very early days of like Google where you just spam keywords in. This is where you go a bit old school with it, because right now it's just trying to tell TikTok, this is what I want this video to be categorized for. But you want to include those keyword inclusions physically or verbally and make sure that it's integrated within the video so that TikTok knows. And also when it gets pushed out to SERPs, the SERPs understand this is what this video is about. From my understanding, that usually comes from the hashtag and the caption, but it helps TikTok to categorize it if you say it and add it as text on screen as well. Now, that obviously, like I said, is how you would add the keywords in, but you want to focus on a few different metrics to make sure that it actually gets engagement, because in order for it to rank on TikTok or even get pulled into SERPs as well, it needs to perform well as a piece of content. And this is where a lot of SEOs go to me, oh no, but I can't do that. Well, this is why you need to talk to your social team, because your social team already know how to create content that does well. So once you've given them the keyword they need to include, the video they need to create needs to have a good click-through rate, which means it should have a really good thumbnail. So when people search for it, they'll click on it. So that, just similar to YouTube, right? You want people to click on it. Trending audio works really well. It depends on the intent of the video and depends if it matches what the audience is looking for, but including trending audio works. It works quite well at the moment. And the final thing, which is I always put an asterisk next to this right now, because the algorithm, as we know, algorithms can change on a weekly basis. Now, the main thing right now is engagement and watch time. That works really effectively on TikTok, watch time in particular, because what you might find is you'll see, I don't know if you use TikTok yourself, but there's a lot of creators right now, what they're doing is they're looping their videos. So you might get to the end of a video, and what happens is you realize, oh, it's just started again. I didn't realize it started again, because creators are doing that on purpose, because watch time plays such a
so it's on purpose.
So it helps actually. Yeah, it's on purpose. Yeah, so to make the video go out further. So the more watch time we go through, and then if you watch a couple of seconds later, TikTok thinks that means that you were watching the entire video all the way through plus some. So it impacts, and we found in our studies, watch time has been one of the most impactful metrics. But again, that may change. But right now, that would be one that I would optimize for.
Man, in 5 minutes you gave us a whole, maybe a little longer, like just 5 minutes, a whole TikTok strategy and how to do that. Like I didn't know about that data, so like that's all free. You can all grab that data. It's publicly available, and just go in and it'll just show you how to optimize your content there. Interesting. And you said, what is that? So I'm not a TikTok user, but I would love to get access to that data. So like you would go into just log into your account.
So you go into your account, go to the search bar. So on TikTok, you would go. You go to your search bar, top right of the screen, and then you'd search creator, search insights there, and then it will literally come up with this. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. And then you click on that, and then it will just tell you. So simple looks for a night in is the first keyword that I've just accidentally clicked on. I think it's on my fashion account. So.
Nice. Oh man, you just got me open some ideas for me. Thank you for sharing that. And we have Debbie here saying, was not expecting a TikTok masterclass. So thank you, Debbie. So, and if guys, anyone in the live audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. I can pause it, but we're coming close to time already, but we have a few more things I want to kind of get into. Actually, we got a lot of things. Maybe we might have to do part 2 here. So, let's get into EAT. Let's get into EAT signals. This is something that you talk about, right? EAT signals, brand authority. Yeah, what's the difference here between DA, BA, you call brand authority in Google's eyes, and why is brand authority even more important now?
Yeah, so there's a few different reasons for this. So like, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my slides so I can remind myself of how exactly I explain this. So when it comes to EAT, we had so we actually have this framework that we use for kind of almost mapping it out into understanding it. So it's injecting content the same way that we would use experts. So let's say, when we look at EAT, I think we've for some reason over the last couple of years, it's all become focused on author pages. And it's just like build a really good author page on your website, which I think was just the standard anyway. You should have that anyway. But the problem is that a lot of people think, oh, I've made an author page, and then they tick that off, and then they're like, EAT is done. What we found is actually EAT is a lot more, and it actually builds into a lot of different signals that Google looks at. Because it's so anyone can build. I think the reason why this is, and this is not based off anything algorithmic, but just simple human intuition, right? Anyone can kind of build an author page. I could go and put an author page up and say I'm a dog training expert. Although my dog's quite well behaved, I'm not a dog training expert. So it's the case of like, I think Google sees it in the same way. And what we've noticed, in order to actually influence that and then actually work into a wider holistic multi-channel content strategy, is actually mapping that across the different things. So looking at experience. So how we look at this is experience would be UGC and social proof, right? So you do that. The purpose of that content might be demonstrating real life usage and experience. So how do we do that? Well, we'll go out and we'll actually look for people. So let's say we did this for a staycation company, where we went and looked for people in those areas before we did the things to do videos. We went and looked for experts. Instead of looking for influencers or UGC creators, we went look for experts in that area. Let's say they own a surf school, or they own the actual tourist shop that's in that area, or they, we were doing maybe a video on swimming. We went to a swimming teacher specifically. Then what we do is we don't just get them to create a blog post. We actually get to create impact and create content for us. So Airbnb is a really good example of this. So you can find these people through Airbnb. So Airbnb have places to stay, and they have experiences. And if you go down experiences, you'll find experts who own their own business, who are already creating content for their own business, who need more content to produce. And you can actually brief them and work with them in collaboration to go and create, this is for a staycation, for example, business. You can go away and use them as experts to then push out. And then what you can do is not only will that help give them content and allow them to have a platform, but it allows you to then go and use that content to drive relevant links, drive relevant videos, integrate those videos into your own website. But it doesn't just have to be videos. Again, they can do expert commentary for publications. And then what happens is then this relates your brand to that expert and shows that you are working in collaboration with these people to show that you do know what you're talking about on your website. You're not just putting content out there that is just random or spun up. You're actually working with people who have an authority in this space and are certified experts. Because unfortunately, I think one thing that happened at Brighton was there was actually a talk that came, I think it was either before mine, just before I got on stage, where they said, I think you might have seen it go viral on LinkedIn. It was quite a controversial talk where the individual said that you should fake your EAT signals and you should just make up the expert and create like an AI expert and just, in health issues and things like that. And I just think that's totally wrong. Like especially if you're in health or something like that, the reason this exists is because you want somebody who knows what they're talking about. So I'd rather go and do this. But yeah, like I said, so this actually drives a load of demand for the business, but it also drives a load of expertise that's not just an author page. It gives you something to back your author page with. So you can have that expert featured on your website as an author page, but then you've got all this content that then goes across multiple different touch points, different signals to Google to say, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. Transcribe that podcast you get them featured in. Have them featured in an article where they do an expert commentary. Have their video get pulled into the SERPs. These are all different things that have an impact. And yeah, it works across the whole thing. So there's actually a framework. So I don't want to talk through the whole framework because it will be here for ages. But if you go onto my slides,
okay.
I don't know if they're linked to this or not.
I'll definitely
have a look. Oh, amazing. Yeah. So there, I can't remember. It's like halfway through, but you'll see where I've got a slide called Driving EAT with Park Team Resorts, and the slide after that is the framework that we use, and it'll show you exactly what content to create for what platforms.
Love it, guys. And I actually just put the link in the live chat, so be sure to check that out and copy, paste it, download it, and check it out now. All right, so I only have a few more minutes left here. Let's just go into a few more things here. So I'm curious now, like, how do you structure your content to win and zero-click SERP or AI overviews right now? I mean, I know that everyone's always blaming like AI overviews, taking all the traffic and stuff like that. So I mean, can we actually just get in there and still drive traffic and conversions?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of debate on this right now. And to be honest, since I've done my slides, a few things have changed a little bit. But again, I think this comes down to a few things, which is what we found is the different usage of citations, the different usage of press, the different uses of a holistic content strategy. And that is, again, I'm a big believer that it comes down to the category you want to own. So if what we found with the clients that we work with is instead of trying to target random things, and we went through this phase for years where topical authority was so important, which I still think it plays a massive part, but I think we don't need to go as wide anymore. What we really need to do is actually double down on the category you want to own and make sure that your brand is mentioned next to that category. Yeah. So whether it's we work with an air fryer brand, Ninja. So if you ask ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure they have 85% visibility or something with air fryer brands now. And what you'll find is if you ask ChatGPT what's a recommended air fryer brand, especially here in the UK, Ninja will come up, and that's because we've related their brand through content, through publications, through social content with Ninja plus the word air fryer for the category they want to own. And that's exactly how I think we should be thinking moving forward, because I think so many people are focused on, just build a really powerful brand, which is great. Yep. But the issue with that is Ninja already had a really powerful brand. It's one of the biggest, kitchenware, appliances companies in the world. It's, it's huge, but they weren't showing up when you asked LLMs or when you searched on Google for the word air fryer until we related them to that category. So it's becoming more and more important for you to connect your brand to that category so they come together, and that's a signal that Google, LLMs, Perplexity, all these different things that are out there can see, and that's done via multi-channel content across so many different touch points. Because you'll remember, we'll get to a point where all these LLMs they're analyzing thousands of these touch points at once. It's all that's happened is we've added a middleman in between us and search. Someone is searching for us now, right? And they are analyzing all this information to provide this. So across thousands of these touch points, you need to be able to influence that you are that brand for air fryers. You are Ninja and you sell air fryers and you're the best at that. So you have to be able to provide that across so many different touch points. How do you do that? A really strong, holistic, multi-channel content strategy.
Love it. And this is my last question before I ask my last. This is my second to last question before my last question. Guys, if you have any questions, ask them right now. So, it's kind of like to close this off. What is that one underused tactic or overlooked opportunity that every SEO or digital PR lead should be doing today?
Oh, that's a good question. So I would actually say it is offsite signals. I think we, especially as SEOs, because we think that we can't impact offsite that much without going to do the doing. We think that we don't have the ability to do that. And I think same way with learning how to brief content creators with SEO, same way with how to brief PR with what we need in terms of links and where we want those links pointed to, and then briefing them on what category we want to own and how we want that brand mentioned next to that category. We need to really double down on understanding how we can impact on offsite signals. So not just thinking of yourself as I'm just an SEO and I just do on-site stuff. Think of yourself as I'm an SEO, but I'm also, because of that, a content marketer. What is the goal I'm trying to drive? I'm trying to drive more revenue for the business. The problem that we face right now is I need to go and spread this message to the different teams. I need to go share to them that I can go do this. And which as a result means I need to go to them and learn. Well, first, as myself, I need to go and learn what offsite signals mean. Okay, cool. Now I understand that. Now I need to understand how to communicate to the teams that can go and implement that, because that helps me. That also helps them to reach that top line metric that we're trying to all get to.
Love it. And this is my last question. I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. If someone wants to get into the SEO industry, become an SEO themselves, what would your advice be to them?
Oh, okay. That's a really good question. So I would say if you want to get into the SEO industry, go rank your own website. But that's what I used to say anyway. But I think now it's got to a point where it's so difficult because it's harder to have a niche site. I used to always say, build your own website because that taught you SEO. I think now what you have to do is really understand content marketing as a whole. I think as SEOs, we're going to be part of so many different channels. So when you enter SEO, firstly, obviously, go and really work in those roles where you can learn as much as possible, get exposed to a really good manager, go work in agency space if you can, because you get exposed to so many different accounts, so much stuff. But think of yourself as a content marketer. Along that period in your career, you're going to really need to understand content marketing. I think with everything, all the changes that we're seeing, content marketing is going to become so important to brands, to businesses. So if we want to keep ourselves relevant, you want to learn the space, go and learn that, because that will impact everything you do in SEO.
Love it. And for this episode to feel complete for you, any last words and how can people get a hold of you?
Well, to be honest, I had a really good time. Honestly, I did not expect this. You've got an amazing setup, man. This is honestly incredible. I had so much fun. Firstly, thank you to everyone who spent their evening watching this, or day actually, because it's evening over here in the UK. So if anyone, wherever you are in the world, thank you for coming along to watch it. But yeah, if you want to catch me, you can find me. I've actually just made a brand new Instagram account. I'm going to start posting on Instagram more now. So obviously, like I said at the start, I lost my Instagram years and years ago, and now I'm kind of back in the mindset of going to create content. So I'm going to be sharing a lot more information about stuff that I do on a day-to-day basis and stuff like that. So that's at Ray Sadik 1. So that's RaySaddiq 1 on Instagram, and then Ray Sadik again spelled the same way on LinkedIn as well.
Love it. And let's give a round of applause. Ray, thank you so much for coming on. Can you hold on for one quick second while I sign off here? Hold on for one quick second. All right. Okay. All right, guys, this concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And visit my brand new website, aeo.so to learn how I was able to get into AI overviews and AI mode in less than 24 hours. And now ChatGPT in about 2 weeks. So check it out. I documented everything on aeo.so. Until next time, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre de Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!